Today on the show, we're talking kings, queens, bosses, and aura. This is the Faction Reloaded.
Stop. Nah, wait a minute.
Happy Saturday to everybody, and welcome to the Faction Reloaded. Of course, I am Gerard Bonner. My whole crew is hanging out with me, and we got a lot to talk about, as we tend to every Saturday. Of course, shout out to the one and only Wrestling with Honey. Honey, how are you?
I am doing fantabulous on this lovely Saturday. It's pretty hot, pretty humid, but I'm trying to stay cool with the AC and stuff. But, I don't know what's hotter, this weather or wrestling these days.
There's an old song that said the heat is on, and it feels very, very opposite for this. The councilman's here. Will Farrow, how are you, sir?
I was all right until yesterday.
That could mean a lot of things. We'll dig into that, I'm sure. And last but certainly not least, the man who knows no limits or boundaries to his fatigue, James White. How are you, sir?
I am more tired than Rikishi's thong, but I am here today with all of you.
I don't think nothing more tired than that, bro. I don't, yo.
Hang in there, honey. All right.
That damn near could be in Hall of Fame. How much he been held up.
Okay, I'll say this, and no, I've not been anywhere near that thong, thank God. But if you have been in a wrestler's locker room, you will know that sometimes there are scents that you would like to forget. So, yeah, I can only imagine the fatigue on that. Anyway, let me not get stuck there too long.
Don't get stuck.
Oh wow! I walked into that. I literally walked into that. That's
you did. I was like, I didn't know if he did it on purpose or not.
I did not. I promise.
Now I'm unwell.
Oh,
there's no way he doesn't take that shot. There's no way.
No. It was too wide open, and I didn't even realize. I mean, like, he didn't give me a chance. But I hope everybody is well, whether you're watching live or you'll be watching this later. Lots to talk about. So I wanted to start off very strategically because we are 7 days and a whopping 2 million views later from the mask versus mask match that took place last Saturday night. AAA, just an unbelievable card. Incredible main event for the honor of being the real and only El Grande Americano, mask versus mask. Before we get into the outcome of the match, I want to start by asking, first of all, what were your feelings as you were watching this? People did not have the opportunity to check out what was happening in our chat live, but we got to see feelings. But how were you feeling as this match was unfolding in front of us? Honey, I'll start with you.
From top to bottom, beginning to end, like my feelings were, I mean, obviously the excitement around it. I could have never have predicted this much excitement for this match for Mania. With the way this was rolled out, it pretty much proved that, you know what, we didn't need that Mania weekend. We're just fine without it. And it was just so fun. I felt like a kid again, just watching a good old instant classic. Like it was just exciting. It was fun. It was everything you needed. And those are pretty much the feelings that I had watching it from top to bottom, because it was just such a great match.
Councilman, talk to me about why a match on a weekly AAA show, granted it was a special show, why is the world still talking about this match 7 days later?
I just think everything has stood out to me. I think this is one of those places. I don't know who you give all the flowers to. Of course, you have to give the AAA. Of course, you have to give it to folks like Pete Dunne, The Undertaker, the folks that put this together. But it's those that recognize that, like, hey, we are in something that's like red hot, that has turned into this wildfire. We need to execute on it. And I think that's just what it led to. It was like, yo, as long as you stay there, however this is put, and however y'all are writing this, y'all knew when to start it, when to get it to the end, and even showed us now, like, hey, we're glad it didn't happen at WrestleMania, because it's like, yo, for one night out of very random, we were like, yo, this is where we're all at. And I think that's what makes that special, is that you can still do stuff like that. Like, like I've seen AEW do like special shows of their like Collision or their Dynamite, but to see this happen and then just to see how everything came out, it was just no notes. Like, if you told me like, how could you make this better? I'd have been like, y'all should have put it on every channel around the world on cable, like all of them. Like when y'all did Reagan's funeral, like all of them. Like, you know what? No Love Island tonight. No Love Island. Maz versus Maz. I even heard Jesus' cousin tuned in to watch this. That's how big this was. Like if you wasn't here to witness this, it's like Haley's comment. Where were you?
James, for you, I mean, like you've had an opportunity to obviously see quite a bit of this. Why was this so special? And what can the 2026 wrestling fan and member of the wrestling community learn from what happened last Saturday night?
I think it was special because as soon as you turn on the television to see this presentation, everything about it felt like everybody wanted to be there. Like it was the crowd, the way the announcers talked about it, the angles that they took to show it. There's something special about AAA. And AAA was punch drunk for years, and just operating on a very drug-induced level. Well, the product was down, but the passion was always there, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got to give them like quality in the ring. Y'all know they were putting on some stuff. Like, what is happening here? Like,
it was some wild arrows that AAA had.
Yeah,
Casamigos on a pole match. Like, what is happening?
Like,
anyway.
What you mean the midget is on the pole? Doing what?
And why are you showing this?
Yeah, what do they get it if they win?
Yes.
What is this?
Is he a prize like you get at the fair?
Yeah. Like, do you win him? Like what? Like what's going on? Whose mom is this in the corner at the top of the turnbuckle?
It was some wild stuff, and wow. I think the reason why the Mexican people have embraced this is because it's really brought lucha back to it. And even though this was an American wrestler versus a German wrestler, they respect the culture, and everything about it respects the culture. It did not look like WWE. It looked like AAA, and it felt like we were watching AAA in the 90s or AAA in the 80s. And the crowd, listen, there are a few crowds that were hotter than that crowd right there. We watch this at night. My wife usually goes to sleep around 8:45, 9 o'clock. I said, babe, you got to check this out. And she's like, what is this? And I only told her the backdrop of how we got to the thing. And she watched the entire thing. So for someone who doesn't even care about wrestling, you can watch that and get engulfed into the theatrics, the drama, the passion. They wrestled their butts off. We said this last week that they were going to do that. The in-ring was going to deliver. But everything about it, everybody was all in for the same purpose. And when you get that in anything, let alone wrestling, you're going to get magic.
Yeah, it was nothing short of magic. I mean, again, you watch this and it felt it felt as big can get. And I think everybody on the card was very aware that the eyes of the world were watching. So they put on. Every title match was just like, whoa. I mean, you know, whether it was the War Raiders winning tag team gold, or, you know, for those who had not been watching and they hadn't seen Omos impacts what this Latin American championship match looks like, you know, and Vikingo wins. And then, of course, it starts off with ridiculous stuff with Rey Fenix and now the former cruiserweight champion Laredo Kid. I mean, like, it was just an unbelievable card. And to think that for a Night of Champions, a non-title match is the main event and the draw. And the people are all over it. I mean, from the way that they entered the arena, not even the arena, but like when they were first getting there and the crowds were going crazy, throwing things at the original El Grande, and, you know, and even that, and this is the wild part. The wild part to me was to get to the end and, you know, to fully follow the Lucha Libre tradition in a mask versus mask situation, where now you have to not only unmask, but now you have to tell all your business. You have to tell your birth name. You have to tell when you were born, where you were born. You have to run down your legal resume. And, you know, for Chad Gable's family to be in the ring, and I mean, I don't know if anybody else felt this way, but in watching it, I really wondered, like, who is the original El Grande Americano? I didn't know. And so JBL just embodied how I felt. Like, oh my God, it's Chad Gable. You know, like,
Couldn't believe.
Shocker.
For lack of a better word, pun intended, unreal.
How about that? How about that?
I couldn't believe it. I logged off from my watch along.
I didn't know where he had been, what he had been doing. I knew he had been injured. You know, and but I didn't know.
Wow.
I didn't know.
But that's why he lost, though, because that's what happens when you culture appropriate. You see what happens when you thank God the other one is full-blooded Latino. That's why he won.
Well,
I know he looked more like the Canelo side, but, you know, I was like, see, that's why the Spanish prevailed and the white man did not win. That's all I know.
Oh my goodness. Well,
no disrespect, Chad Gable. Just saying.
So wait, let's follow that, though, because the question now is, in this particular moment, here's a great question: who actually won?
We did.
Right.
The people.
We did. And I think that to answer the first question initially in regards to what about this match made it so special and so great, I really feel like, obviously, the commitment, the commitment to the mask, the commitment to the culture, the commitment to fully immersing themselves in this character, whether it be Chad Gable or the other guy. But either way, the way they both just dug deep into it. And the moment that it really hit me was the moment when they're just in the middle of the ring. They're battered, bloodied, bruised. They've given all they could get, and they're just standing there looking at the crowd. I can only imagine what a feeling like that must have been, to have such a great reception from the fans, and just to literally go all out and just put on a great show. And that was only that was the night of the Grandes. That was Noches de los Grandes. That's night one. There's another night. Everybody's completely forgetting there's another night. So if that's what was the first night main event, what the hell is in store for the next night's main event?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember none of them other matches before that. It wasn't until I watched SmackDown, I was like, what the War Raiders with the tag team belts? When that happened, they was
They
like,
sure did.
the same day as Maz versus Maz. I was like, no.
Right before.
Yeah,
that
right
day?
before it happened. Yeah.
Why would y'all do that to yourselves? Like,
Mm.
why would you do that? That's like me
Incredible.
deciding I'm gonna go rap my new album before Michael Jackson coming on. Like, who does that?
Mm.
Like, nobody finna remember I did that.
Well, I would rather do it before he comes on while there's a crowd than after, because they're really not going to remember after.
Yeah.
I put $10 on this because I'm not betting my rent money. We could have sat for the remainder of that whole time and did segments, and we still would have waited for
Oh my
Maz.
goodness.
That's how epic it was. You could have just ran the whole loop back, little comic loop back the entire time. Dang. I'm remembering Bailey was supposed to be there. I think Lola was there. All of that's taken out my brain when Maz versus man. I heard the Queen came back just so she could even watch that match. I don't know how she did it.
You know what?
Wow.
They got, they got the special powers. I don't know.
Wow.
For 30 minutes.
Shout out to Ring King Wrestling Podcast. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Thank you so much.
For 30 minutes, man. I would even say, like, there was peace on earth. I feel like all racism. We forgot about Trump for 30 minutes. Thanks to the Grandes.
Match was so
97.
Match was so good it got a whole encore after Raw on Netflix.
That's
saying something.
That's saying a whole lot. That's really saying a whole lot. So incredible. I will say this. I really feel like one of the reasons this was so special, I mean, obviously everybody poured a whole lot into it. But what I think is so significant about all of it is that you had everybody winning. And when I say everybody winning, I mean literally everybody became better because of it. So, you obviously get the establishment of El Grande Americano. He is, and we said it last week, this is basically Hulkamania in Mexico right now.
Right.
Like the level of connection. There's so many videos coming out. Like there's a video of him holding some child, and the child, he's asking the child full on Spanish, like who his favorite wrestler is, and the child is like Penta, and he's like, oh wow, this is great. And so they take this picture together, the kid's doing the Penta thing, he's doing his, like it's that. So El Grande Americano wins. Certainly the fans win, because the fans now get to, I believe, and I don't know if you felt this, but in watching this, there's a moment where you stop thinking about everything else. Like you stop thinking about mechanics, you stop thinking about, masks, you stop thinking about who's who in the zoo, how this is going to end, what movie. You are completely lost in this story.
Yeah.
Completely lost in it.
Oh yeah.
And so I think for the fan, this is the match that reestablishes our love for this sport. If someone fell out of love with pro wrestling and you want them to fall in love with it again, put this match on. If somebody has been gone from the sport and they need to catch up with why the sport is great, put that match on. No titles, no cages, none of that. Just absolute amazing storytelling. I believe, obviously, Chad Gable wins. Who gets injured, goes away, surfaces in a new promotion better than ever, and now the second he shows up on SmackDown, he's already in the main event picture. Like when you've got him around, the Sami Zayn's around Gunther and Cody, and Gable comes in and he doesn't say a word, and everybody goes crazy. So he wins. I think AAA as a promotion wins. And I think they win because, much to the point that I think James made earlier, everything WWE usually touches and takes over looks like WWE. The only thing that WWE has done for this product in terms of putting their impression on it is they've added the camera and a bit of the glitz. But AAA is still AAA. I mean, there are so if you don't believe that WWE didn't put their hands on this, look at some of the elements in this match. Particularly with I'm mistaking her name, Pimpy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pimpy doesn't show up in WWE.
No.
They will not touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No,
but
no.
in AAA, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pimpy's a legend, you know. So AAA got to fully be AAA and get the WWE. I mean, like, that's the best of both worlds. Oh, yeah, and you get a WWE legend helping to write the product.
Mhm.
And somehow it looks better than what we're seeing on Raw and SmackDown.
No biggie.
So,
No biggie. Just the Hall of Famer, Mean Mark Calloway, Kay the Undertaker. No biggie.
you know what?
Not only that, you got other people who are producers that have
And Pete Dunne.
years of
And we-
experience in all different parts around the world, like a Pete Dunne, who knows what each and every different version of wrestling and how it should go. So it's like now you're also allowing folks that are around his age and around those type of things to be able to actually shine and give a good product like they're doing in AAA.
I'll tell you what else is amazing that I don't know that I necessarily realized until last Saturday. How many people who we haven't seen on television are now behind the scenes at AAA? Like Pete Dunne, the bruiserweight. Haven't seen him in ages.
Nope.
And here he is producing matches in AAA. Like, that is pretty awesome. I mean, you know, I'm just glad that there are so many spaces for people to show up in pro wrestling and make a difference. All of that to say, we're spending intentional time talking about this, because if you are one of the few people on planet Earth who have not seen this match yet, maybe you were too busy, maybe life had just been doing a number on you, go and watch after this podcast that match from AAA last week. It's on YouTube, WWE's YouTube channel or AAA's YouTube channel, and man, it is downright amazing.
GB, it's in my top 10.
Yeah. Also,
top 10 of the year or ever.
Ever. Yeah. I also have it on my YouTube channel with all of the parts when Rey Mysterio talks bleeped out. So you can now it's a 10-star match all the way through. It's not, riddled with deadbeat dirtiness all over it. I do it for the people. I'm doing it for the people. Okay. That's the only thing I say. If you be like, what was wrong with this match? Every time that deadbeat talk, it's like, can he just watch the match? Can he commentate in silence? Like, I heard that's a thing somewhere.
Wow.
Commentate in silence is crazy.
Commentate.
Yeah, like I heard the monks do it real well. Like when they be having they wrestling matches, they just. But it says everything you need to know. Everything.
Silence is golden.
Wow. So yeah, go back, check it out. It is downright amazing. So let's get into this. King of the Ring. We talked about a bit of we have got kings and queens. We talked a little bit about Aura already. So King of the Ring tournament began Monday night off the heels of Clash in Italy, which was on Sunday. Let's talk about this men's match. We've got 16 people in this first round, and that, of course, has changed quite a bit. But it started off Monday night with a fatal four-way. Before I get into that, let's talk about this. Your thoughts. There are technically 16 men and 16 women involved from the outset of King of the Ring, but we're going from 32 essentially to 8 in one round, thanks to fatal four-way matches all around. Do you feel good about the fatal four-way matches that are happening as a first round situation, or would you like your king and queen of the ring to be a bit more traditional in one-on-one matches? Councilman, I'll start with you. Wait, which one does the nah go to?
I don't like the fatal 4-way, man. I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like it. I don't like it. When I saw the bracket, I was like, now this has got to be the greatest King of the Ring tournament I have seen in the last 10 years. I was like, yo, they literally just went to WWE 2K and was just like, yo, make this. And I was like, dope. Then, of course, the faction killer, Honey herself, had to let me know it's fatal 4-ways. And I'm just like, it's like when you meet a chick at the club and you like, she bad, but your homegirl done told you like, it's the light she under, proceed with caution, and you don't proceed with caution. Now you got to figure out how to get Beowulf back home because you didn't listen to your friend. That's how these tournaments feel. Like, why would we have a match with Solo Sikoa, Penta, and y'all put them against my client like they was about to win? That's not fair. That's like all the work Carmelo Hayes been doing. Like, come on, man. We had enough time to do one-on-one matches before we got to Night of Champions. But you know why they didn't do it? Segments. Can't get rid of the segments, man. We got to at least have 17 segments.
We need more segments.
We need more segments, actually. I heard SmackDown going back 3 hours because there were not enough segments in this 2 hours that passed this past Friday.
Yeah, apparently that's why they're extending it to July for 3 hours until July, apparently. But more and more segments.
Wow. So, Honey, fatal 4-way first round, yay or nah?
I mean, but no matter the answer, no matter what I do, it's not going to change a damn thing. I mean, I am a lover of all things traditional when it comes to WWE, especially when it comes to the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. But I understand that's a lot going on, and they're traveling overseas in the midst of that and bringing back house shows and all of that, so everybody can't wrestle 2 to 3 times in a night. The way they made them do so in the 90s. But here we are, and I was really excited, like Will. Then I found out they were fatal 4-ways, and I'm just like, oh well, that's interesting, I guess. But here we are.
Oh, what are you doing?
Hey,
there he is.
Oh, big man.
We got some visitor.
There's a champ.
Are you at least gonna say hi? No, you're just gonna.
He was like, I looked at y'all. That was high.
My goodness.
Y'all didn't catch my gaze when I hit y'all. I'm out.
So big. You got so big. Holy cow.
I got stuff to do, man. I got toys to sell. I got products to move. Like, hey.
Products.
This guy. Yeah.
Crazy though.
Yeah. So let me ask you.
It's thrown off.
Yeah. Completely thrown off. Let me ask you this though, James. Now that we've gotten these fatal 4-ways in, and we've already had 2, do you? And that's the left-hand side of the bracket. Let's try to get some predictions on the right-hand side of the bracket. So there are 2 fatal 4-ways left. The first has, this is like insane, Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, Tala Tonga, and Ricky Saints. And then the second one has Jey Uso, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor. Who from those 8 do you see going into the semifinals?
I think it would be weird to bring Finn to SmackDown, and then in his first match on SmackDown, he loses in a 4-way. I think that would be really weird to do.
What if he don't eat the pin?
It still would be weird to do. Like, I think Finn is one of those where his name should have some kind of credence to it, I I would choose him to win. I don't think Royce Keys advancing to the next round. I don't think we're here for that, especially since he just lost cleanly to Tala Tonga. Probably doesn't make any sense for that to happen. Tala Tonga is such a cheap name.
I refuse to call him that.
I keep forgetting it.
And the fourth person in that, who's that? Solo? Solo's the fourth person in?
No, Solo was in the
no, Solo just lost. Yeah,
so
sorry.
it's Finn Balor, Royce Keys. Oh wait, so you mix the two. You mix the two matches. So
I'm sorry. They all
one match on the top match, you've got Seth Rollins, Javon Evans, Tala Tonga, and Ricky Saints.
Okay, that's Seth.
And then on the following match, you have Jey Uso, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor.
Okay, yeah. So Finn should win. I think they're gonna do some kind of storyline with Jay and LA. Finn should win that, and then we're gonna get to Seth Rollins winning this whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, Seth Rollins wins the whole thing. Yeah, we're not talking about what I like. We're talking about what's going to happen. And they got to get a payoff. All right. You can hold up this envelope, which is going to turn colors by June of next year if you still have it. It'll be beige at that point. But
I've had this for 2 years.
That's amazing. The penmanship. It'll be Seth because they're gonna want to pay off this Seth versus Roman situation at SummerSlam, and this gets you to it. All right, so the easy thing to do right now is to do these 4 ways and get the matches out of the way and continue storylines. So therefore, you don't have people eating clean pins, and there's only so many interferences you can do, right?
Right.
So let's do these in a 4-way, which is non-DQ matches, and anything can happen in them. Let's keep our people strong that we want to keep strong out of it and go from there. So I think it's going to be Seth and Finn, who you can just say at any point, you could just turn around and say, hey, Seth, Finn, go wrestle. And they will put on a show because those are 2 of the best to ever do it in the ring. And then on the other side, you get to have my dog, Obafemi, and we know what's going to happen in that situation. First of all, let's back up, okay? Because if you're going to do a 4-way, do a 4-way like that. My man came out.
Superb entrance.
Them young men did not deserve that. Them young men.
They sort of kind of didn't, though.
I told my client when he got to the back, I'm like, you'd have to do them boys like that. How you throw him out the ring and then finish your entrance? I'm like, what kind of shit is that?
He's like, I wasn't done yet.
Because
I ain't finished.
Because I get paid.
Ain't nobody's supposed to be in the ring when I do it.
Listen, I get paid by the minute. All right, we're gonna get this interest here. That's what's gonna happen. All right, we're gonna run this, and then at the end, this is beautiful because you get all of them. Everybody got their stuff in the match. Penta gets his stuff in. You know, Solo plays his role very well. Plays that big heel role. Melo gets his stuff in. You can tell there's high talent, and then Oba comes up. He drops Tala Tonga. He smacks the daylights out of Melo. he drops him.
Melo already light skinned, bro. We don't need to be dropping him down a couple more U's.
Smack the daylights out of him. Then he puts Tala through a table, and then he does his finisher on Solo. And now all the stench of the loss of the clash in Italy is gone. The aura has been restored, and that was the goal.
What stench? What stench?
People who did not want him to lose to Brock Lesnar clean, now all of a sudden we're not talking about that anymore. You saw more viral videos of Oba's entrance than you did anything about Clash in Italy.
Because we wasn't talking about it was a loss. That man took 7 F5s.
Yes.
Who you know in the history of Brock?
Of life.
Of life.
Yes.
You know the last time he F5 7 people when he fought Goliath after Moses threw that rock and it didn't work with David.
Moses threw the rock.
And all of a sudden, here come Brock Lesnar, dressed like Ezekiel, and then fucking F5 and a whole Goliath. That was the last time he ever had to do that. Oba ain't moved nothing that night.
This dude did the Bible on Cliff Notes. This is amazing.
While we do that, shout out to Lovely and to Grandma. Grandma, we love you. You are awesome. You are awesome. Absolutely. Wait.
No, Lovely. No. Don't write something you're not here when you need to be here to defend yourself. Yeah, you talked all that shit about a certain person we gonna talk about. Now you
shout out to Il Fam from Black Wrestling Podcast. Much love to you, good brother. Man, that was funny. That was funny. Yeah. So, all right. So since you took us there, James, let me ask predictions on who wins the men's. Well, obviously it's the men's. Who rings King of the Ring?
Well, I said Seth. So
yeah.
Since
you said that, what are your thoughts on that, honey?
Yeah. I mean, King Seth sounds really good on paper, but there's a really good argument for Dirty Dom, King Dirty Dom. I don't know, man. I feel like either one could happen. I wouldn't be mad at either of them, but I feel Dom's gonna get away with that win somehow.
Question to you, honey. Do you right now see Dominic Mysterio in a world championship match at SummerSlam?
Not more than Seth, not over Seth. Not while Seth is still there. If he beats Seth, then obviously, yeah. Like,
Will, who's winning King of the Ring?
I can't believe I don't know who this honey is when she on the faction. She act real different. Let me tell you why the scumbag era begins.
Continues, you mean?
The scumbag era is coming. When I tell you, it is chicken tendies and championships for the rest of 2026. Okay, how dare not? Matter of fact, Professor did not say that. Just the people on this side, you were excluded from this, Professor.
Wow.
How dare y'all don't think the greatest luchador, the king of the luchadors, is not a sellout SummerSlam ticket event? That's the best damn Mysterio we got. That's why that deadbeat won't retire, because he just don't want to give up the crown that's already should be given up. This man has exceeded what you have ever done in his life. My man Dominic Mysterio brought AAA to all of us and is still the champ. Did Rey Mysterio ever defend that title on Raw? No, because he's a bum. But the scumbag of the century, whoo, I'm telling you, that's what nobody ready for. Neither is Roman. Roman is so used to architects. He is so used to beast. He is so used to Scottish psychopaths. What is he going to do when you have to deal with the wiliness that is Dominic Mysterio?
Wiliness.
You have the women's world champion ready to drop all the bombs. She kicked John Cena in his what they used to call it? Testicular fortitude.
Yes.
So that Dom could win. Dom beat John Cena. And you telling me this man can't sell out SummerSlam and close it out? Come on, man.
There's so many counters to that, but we don't have time in the show.
Don't nobody care about Seth no more. If no one cares about The Rock versus Roman, no one cares about Seth versus Roman anymore.
I still.
Oh, yo, what happened? No, I'm sorry. Hey, wait. I didn't fully mean that. I mean,
wait, what?
Wait, we didn't. Hold on, can y'all? Let me. Hey,
I'm reading the wrong square.
I was gonna turn into that.
What just happened?
No. I said no one cared about Seth and Roman, and it just instantly cut off.
They're watching.
Somebody's watching. Oh
He
my
got
God.
on faster than when I found out Chad Gable was El Grande. I was like, yo, I'm out.
Yo,
You
you just
drink.
you
But,
just got clipped from Titan Towers, bro.
So I got to ask while we waiting there for Professor to get back. Thoughts on the other fatal four-way that we saw take place this past Friday with Mysterio, Breaker, Williams, and Priest. How are we feeling that the King Trick predictions have been stomped out?
Kind of sad, kind of sad. There he is, but I am kind of sad about that.
Yeah. So Professor, I was asking them while you was gone, how do you feel about us now not getting the King Trick Williams and the coronation from Booker T and Queen Sharmell? Like, all of that prediction is now out the window. Did we miss that opportunity, or do you think that the other folks that are remaining deserve King of the Ring or need King of the Ring a little bit more?
This one's hard. I feel like, first of all, that match was just a weird pairing. All four of them have championship belts, so that's strange in and of itself. Two of them are tag team champions, but one is a former world champion and the other is a future world champion. And then you have the US champion, who's also a future world champion. And then you have the current champion of AAA. Like, that's a lot happening in there. I did not expect Dominic to win that. And so I do think here's the problem when you have literally 16 all-stars in 4 fatal 4-way matches. You miss a lot of potential. I would have enjoyed at least Trick going to the next round. Right. At least let's start the process of us really being able to think and feel like, wow, this can happen. Yep. I don't know why we didn't pull that particular trigger, but I think this is, and this is certainly not being a dead horse, but I think that against the context of what happened last week is why we don't get more of what happened last week. Last week, of course, being the battle of the Grande Americanos, is there's not enough commitment to the lengthy storyline that would allow things to cook, so that something that seemingly starts as a joke turns into a main event. We didn't even get out the gate with the idea of King Trick. And I think that's unfortunate. Now, the good thing is, Trick's got some time. But I think that King Trick, and here's the thing, I honestly think King Trick could probably wait another year at least, because you don't want to, and I feel like AEW kind of has this particular problem. If someone has a title, they don't need a second accolade on top of that, because both of them can't be equal in terms of importance. So having him as King Trick, now going for the world title at SummerSlam while you're freshly the US champion, could be too much right now. So I'm not totally upset at that idea, but I would have liked it teased by him getting to the second round, and we would have done that without a fatal 4-way.
Now,
I think
I
think the match served a bit of a purpose with reestablishing Dom too, because we haven't seen him. And the last time we saw him in an actual wrestling match of significance was WrestleMania, basically, and he lost. And he lost cleanly. So if that Triple Mania, which is going to be a big show, and obviously WWE is taking AAA seriously, if Triple Mania is going to be a big show, then we need to make sure that that AAA champion has some wins under his belt, and that people see him as a winner. Even if he doesn't win this King of the Ring, at least going deep into it. If he was out in the first round, then that shoots the credence and credibility of that whole brand if he's not there. So I think it was very important to have him win, and have him win over some names as well. He didn't, just beat anybody. That he beat a match full of champs, And so now you have Chris. So I think the way they're booking it is based on who do we want coming out looking a certain way, and what's the best way to do it. You want Oba to look a certain way. You want Seth to look a certain way. You want Dom to look a certain way, and then who else can survive this? Because Trick is still over.
Mm-hmm.
He is still hugely over, and you can put any program around him, and he's going to make that thing shine. You know, that little face off he had with Braun. You know, things of that. It doesn't take long, guys. It doesn't take long to develop interest in the guy and build a program. So they could do that with Trick in a minute. So I'm not too fazed by it.
Okay, I do have one thing I want to ask though that we ain't addressing, and I know y'all might get upset.
Okay.
Connect the dots too when I say it. King Uso, and here's why I say that's there. Roman has lit another fire in him to go after a title. And he has 3 potential people where this sells. It's either you versus Roman, or you versus Cody, or you versus Gunther. Either way, it's 3 people this man has had history with. And it's 2 of them he's beaten and pinned.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say too, if you're saying as much as a Rollins needs to win, there is also this hidden part in Jay. But I just want to know from y'all, am I reaching in this? Or do you see, or is this something right up TKO's alley?
Oh no, you're not reaching, but I think there's a 4th that I'd like to add to that list. And that's Jay versus Jacob. Do y'all think he is just going to play the role as a submissive werewolf?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, honey. And he's already laid the ground for that. I mean, they did that Monday with him addressing him. Like, I'll acknowledge you, but I still can't stand it.
Yeah, you ain't heard my theory though.
Okay.
I think Jay is pulling the strings to all that, which is why he don't say nothing. Because if you think about it, why do you keep addressing Jay? Why is Jay the one calling out the shots? And then most of the times when you see Roman, it's Roman leaving and he's directing traffic. Mm-hmm. He directs the tribal chief since this has started. So I don't know if we get a versus, but I really believe you get to see a different side of Jay Uso that's going like, nah, y'all keep thinking I'm just this yeet dude. Like, no, let me show you what I can really do.
Forgot about right-hand man, Jay.
Yeah, it's like, how do you take down a tribal chief? Just like they say, how do you trick the world's greatest detective? You put the clue right under his nose.
Well, the only thing to that, Will, I'm not shooting that down, but as an aside to that, what was that at the interaction at the end when they're talking and you don't see Jacob with them, and Roman's talking to the Usos and saying, hey, y'all got to get him under control, get him on the same page. Hey, go over there. So essentially, Jacob is on SmackDown. All right. Jacob's on SmackDown. Jay, go over there, win a King of the Ring, but also check on him. Keep him in line. This, that, and another. Their seeds, it could go either way, but I think the seeds are there to them to be against each other. Now, that'd be a nice little coup if he was a puppet master their whole way, do the whole Paulie dangerously with the Dangerous Alliance back in the 90s, that whole thing when they turned on Sting. You could do that, but I think it's more right there with Joe versus Jacob, which could be, at least storyline wise, a show still in storyline, not necessarily the match.
But you know what another story still in line is? WWE champion Jay Uso with Jacob and Jay Jimmy and 2 other people, maybe even a Zilla and a Lance Anoa'i, with World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns and the MFTs and one other person in War Games.
Oh boy!
Because we need tribal civil war, and we have not gotten it yet.
Yeah,
and that's what I feel like it's building up to.
When
4.0 Bloodline came, I was like, hey, if we got to run it, let's fully run the whole thing. It's coming. Where these 2 got to face each other.
Well, as we try to figure that out, we got a couple of other items quickly before we get out of here. And one of those is obviously we talked about King of the Ring. Let's get into Queen of the Ring. We now know 2 of the 4 semifinalists. Io Sky wins her fatal 4-way Monday night, defeating Lash legend Julia and Roxanne Perez. And then last night, Raquel Rodriguez defeats Bailey, JC Jane, and Kiana James. I'm gonna talk quickly about the other side, and we'll get your predictions on who's walking out as Queen of the Ring. On the left-hand side of the bracket, you've got Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, and Chelsea Green in a fatal 4-way. And then Sol Ruka, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, and Jade Cargill on the other side. Quickly, who is going to be the 2026 Queen of the Ring? Honey.
I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say one. I pledge my allegiance to Queen Chelsea Green.
Okay.
I would say 2, but I don't want to do that because that's going to lead to another conversation.
Will?
I want Big Mommy, but it's going to be Io so she can take on Rhea at SummerSlam.
Okay. James?
Oh, no.
Let me upset the apple cart. Charlotte Flair.
That's another possibility.
She don't need Queen of the Ring to be Queen of the Ring, though.
But she does need it to get out of that tag team
purgatory
that she's been in the whole
tag
time.
Team limbo. We'll call it limbo.
Yeah.
Is it limbo? So I did ask this just real quick.
Sounds so damn.
Do you think we get Alexa versus Charlotte in the semifinals? And that's how you end that tag team.
Well, here's the thing, though. If Liv Morgan loses in round 1, what have we done?
That's not a good look.
You shouldn't have put her in to begin with. That's on them.
Agree.
That's on them.
I agree.
No matter what happens. So do we get what? Her and like her versus Raquel in the finals? Like, again, she should have never been put in there. So whatever happens with her, it's going to make her look bad all around because she should not be in this tournament.
Someone's going to get taken out.
Yep.
All right, yeah, our hopes. Oh, you know what it is? Stephanie might take her out before that
Stephanie's
match.
return. Yep.
And then get replaced with somebody else.
It's clearly storyline.
Hell hath no fury like a Latina scorned.
Yeah. And then you feel somebody else in that slot.
Well, it's interesting what happens when people are slated for tournaments and they get knocked out of slots. That happened over at the Owen Hart Cup when the TBS champion Willow Nightingale gets knocked out. We got a wild card, and we now find out that the wild card this past Wednesday is the return of Mercedes Mone. Of course, she beats Alex Windsor, moves on to the next round. Let's start here with Mercedes here. Well, first of all, before I go to that, did Mercedes have to be the one to be in this wild card slot, or should there have been someone else? James.
Yeah, it's Mercedes. We're trying to make money here.
Okay. Will?
Could have, but why would you?
Okay. All right. So with that said, honey, now that Mercedes is in the tournament, is she the shoe-in to win it, or can someone else win the Owen Cup?
Yo, when I tell you the disdain she got from Mercedes.
I feel like I'm being set up, but it's okay.
No.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, to the points of my fellow colleagues at the bottom, I mean, it only does make sense. In order for it to make sense, it needs to be making dollars, and that's what Miss Mone is all about. It would be another notch on her belt, so why not?
Will, does Mercedes now have to win this tournament, or is there opportunity for someone else?
I mean, she don't have to. Like, I will say that. But I think it puts a lot more eyes on the old tournament with her being there. But no, I'm still pulling for Athena to win. I want Athena versus Tekla at All In.
Okay. James, your thoughts on whether or not Mercedes has to win this tournament now?
I'm reminded of a story that has nothing to do with this, so I'm not going to say it. What I will say is,
What?
You can't get getting away with this.
What I will say is, you need, whenever you put a name in a product, okay, if you want to enhance the product, you use that name to do so, and you could do it with them winning it, or you could do that with them being upset by somebody. Okay. Otherwise, we're not going to watch this tournament at all. Okay. You only had one reason to watch the tournament before, and that's Athena. Now you got two. Okay. So now, will she win this week? Will she win all the way? Will we return that whole belt storyline thing? That's what a character of intrigue does, and that's what she is. So hopefully we can get Athena versus Mercedes in the tournament, which is something
I would love that.
And now we got eyes on the product. Now people want to see that. All right. And then the winner goes on. So there's two ways you can do it. Either you use that to prop up Athena or someone else, or if you don't believe in your girls, put it back on Mercedes.
If you don't believe in your girl.
Well, and so that lends itself to this question. Did the AEW women's roster need Mercedes Mone right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why? Because that company up there in Connecticut, their women's division is going crazy. Okay. Their NXT division is still better than yours. Yeah, you need eyes on the product. Okay. You got the biggest hater of the WWE and Dave Meltzer. He keeps just salivating over Kendall Gray and trying to find ways to bring Kendall Gray over to AEW. That's how bad your women are right now. He's saying that somebody who just got into pro wrestling is better than everybody on the roster. Yeah, you need Mercedes Mone. You absolutely do. And you need her to do like Natty. You need her to put in work with them like a dungeon, so to speak, and get these girls up to speed. You absolutely do. If you don't like her, that's fine. You cannot deny what she brings to the situation. You need somebody with legitimacy. Attention and legitimacy, okay? Because the victory over her in that platform, it may not do anything for Boca Bomb Wrestling in somewhere in Austria, but here for your program, right? She was collecting all these, minor league belts that like we didn't even know there was a company till she got.
She was collecting belts. She was collecting belts.
But for AEW. If you want to build up your people, then you need to put her in programs with Athena, with Willow Nightingale, with Bane, with all of them. They need to be elevated. We need to care about them, not just care about looking at them on Instagram. We need to care about them to watch the product on Wednesday and Saturday. And right now, for that women's division, we don't. We do not.
Imagine how higher she would get if like Tekla had to face off against Mercedes, like just rivalry, not even in the ring, just like everything wise. Like she's that totem pole that you need to get better. She's like what Becky Lynch is doing for the IC title.
And with Tony being out, you need another.
Yeah. And the only reason why I'll say this, and I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, is look what happened to Chris Statlander when Mercedes wasn't there.
Good point.
You're not wrong.
She left it in your hands, and what happened?
That's
Chris,
a fair,
Chris Flatliner.
Well done. Well done.
Oh man, Courtney heard that one. Sheesh.
Well done.
And before I take it away, I'll add more to it. All right. Put me to sleep.
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Like I think for me, I've been measuring AEW's women's division by a slightly different measurement. And I think that measurement has been how many people on that women's division am I actually interested in seeing? And at one point, it was just all Toni Storm. It was Toni and everybody. Then Mercedes, really, I think, as much as I felt like she did not need the TBS title run, that should have just been for the world title. I think there's no denying what she did in terms of strengthening what was that mid-card division. I mean, let's face it, we liked Willow because Willow was really nice and kind, but obviously Willow going through all she went through only to come back and get that win over Mercedes made Willow special. That series of 3 matches that Chris Statlander had with Mercedes were very, very special matches. Mercedes, whether we like it or not, did an awful lot to strengthen that mid-card division. And I think what is concerning is when you take out a Mercedes and you take out a Toni Storm, what does it do for the people that they worked with? Now, it's interesting. It says to me, for one, that Tekla was always a star because Tekla didn't really need either of them. I mean, she took the title the way she took the title, but, she stands and has gotten a lot better as the women's champion as opposed to a Chris Statlander who wins the title and nobody cared. Like, how do you beat Toni Storm and nobody cares? Like that.
You didn't have a great villain. If you look at the women's division, who's your top villains?
But on top of that, though, on top of being having to have a great villain, you also need to be a great hero. This is the problem. Look at Cody. I know people don't like to talk about Cody, but when you watched Cody beat Roman, everybody went crazy for that. But there was still a feeling about Cody when there was no Roman present, But for Chris Statlander, it was, let's see you overcome Mercedes, but now you're the world champion and we don't care. Like that's a problem. And to that end, if we're only really measuring them by do they have 1 star or 2 versus every single match where there's a woman we care,
it's a reason why I left Tony Khan speechless when I asked that question. It's again, you have it there and you're just not taking notes.
Because to that end, what I also think is, and we're out of time, but what I also think is challenging and slightly egregious, well, it's more than slightly egregious, is how a company was seemingly built on diversity and inclusion and great wrestling, and this is where the best wrestle. Wow. Okay, I think I may have answered my own question. This is where the best wrestle, but you don't believe in your women enough to make them the main event of any PLE. You can't be that progressive, like where you call it the men's world championship and the women's world championship, but you've not in 7 years developed a women's rivalry that you feel is worthy of main eventing a PLE. Meanwhile, I can turn on NXT at any given PLE and there'll be a women's match to start the card and a women's match to end the card, and we'll care deeply about them all.
So I will say this, because I know we got to get out of here. I will say this too. There is also a bigger, grander scheme when it comes to this, because it's not only just pointing at them, but it's also pointing at the ad dollars. So what are y'all saying to these people that go, hey, I'm not ready to put in $1 million unless CM Punk is at the head of the table and not Rhea Ripley in this main event? So it's like there's something in that connection too that's going on. And I think all of them are running around the same thing that we've seen since we've been on this earth, since our parents have been on this earth, and so on and so forth, is that if you let women get in the forefront, they're not going to give it back to you. And I think you're just fighting progression, because we don't get on here most of the time. Now most of the time, it's 60% on WWE. It's 60% wanting to see the women wrestle and 40% of the men, because it's all the redundant stories. They are the ones that are the backbone and carrying this, but they know once it switches over, it's a wrap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because now everything floods in that's going to put them miles ahead of their male competitor. Why? Every brand is going to want to invest in a woman. Every brand is going to want them to be able to push this out. Why? Because those are the ones that will speak to everybody. And this is still a boys club. But the thing is, you're fighting something that you cannot fight for too much longer.
Yeah.
And everybody's starting to see it. Everybody's seeing how you didn't want AJ Lee to progress because you knew what it was. And then you decided we're going to put herself on pause because her shirts weren't selling. Okay. Oh, we're going to put Paige and keep her in a tag team rather than give us the matches that we want. Oh, no, we're going to put Liv in a tournament rather than give her a real storyline because we're just waiting on Stephanie Burker to get back. But we're not going to put any of them to close out a PLE when you know that's what we want to see. But fight it as much as you want. Keep trying to deny it as much as y'all possibly can. But I promise you, in 10 years, it will be the ladies that close this stuff out. You can either get with that, or a lot of y'all can lose y'all seats and they get taken by somebody else who's a lot more forward thinking. Because this is a new, no pun intended, but this is a new day.
Yes, it is.
Stop resisting.
Yes, it is.
We're in a new era.
We are.
And we need more segments.
More segments. We got to have more. So we got to get some segments on here, Professor. That's the only way this can really work. We need to start, introduce ourselves, 13 segments, commercial for at least 4 minutes. Then at least 3 more segments. Then we'll come in and do a story. We'll go to commercial in the middle of that story. Come back where the story is ending. Then we're gonna throw about at least 5 to 6 more segments. I at least need to hold 3 more spaces for some surprise segments just in case.
Well, with that said, we got to get out of here, folks. We got to get out of here. I think you know all the ways you can reach these beautiful people. Wrestling with Honey, Jay Harris White, Will Farrow, and of course, you can find me at Bonnerfide. Shout out to all of you in the chat who are joining us and those who will watch later. We appreciate you. We definitely want to hear from you. Follow us at The Faction Show. And until next time, this has been The Faction Reloaded.
Stop. Nah, wait a minute.